What's going down, Niner Faithful? Welcome back to another video. It's Niner J49. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Nick Foles. Now, let me just make this video short and sweet and tell you where I think Nick Foles could land after this season, because the Philadelphia Eagles will not. They still have to pay Nick Foles $20 million, and he is a backup quarterback for the Eagles. Carson Wentz really is the starter for the Philadelphia Eagles, but Carson Wentz is injured. And now it's like a Jimmy Garoppolo, Tom Brady situation, because the Patriots really couldn't afford to keep both of them. That's why they sent him to the Niners. Was that a mistake? Probably it was a mistake for the Patriots, but we got our quarterback. We got Jimmy G. So at the end of the day, Niners won in the situation. But it's kind of like that situation. They couldn't really afford to keep Jimmy Garoppolo because they knew he was soon going to be, he was hot on the market. Teams wanted him. And thank God the Niners got him, because now we got a stud franchise quarterback. But anyways, it's kind of like that situation. Nick Foles, Carson Wentz, and this Eagles organization is like, it's kind of like controversial right now, because the Eagles cannot afford to keep Nick Foles under contract next season. So he's more than likely going to be either traded. Well, he won't be traded because I think he's on his final year of his contract or something to do with those lines. But the Eagles still have to owe him $20 million, and they're not going to be able to afford to keep him. So he's probably going to be on his way out by next season. Where could Eagles quarterback Nick Foles land in free agency? In this video, I'm just going to be talking about where I think he could land. There's teams out there that can use quarterbacks. The Denver Broncos could use another quarterback. Case Keenum's not all that. And this is the thing. A team that could hands down needs a quarterback right now is two teams that come to mind for me. I can't really think of any other teams, but let me know in the comment section where you guys think Nick Foles could land up. He could land up in like maybe New York, for an instance. Eli Manning is probably going to be on the verge of his retirement, so they could use him as a backup. But I think Nick Foles is ready to start and can start right now. I think he wants to start for an NFL franchise, and I think that really he can be a starting quarterback in this league. So where could he land up? This is my take. This is where I think his number one destination could be. This is the Miami Dolphins. Okay, Miami Dolphins. There's rumors. I made a video about it about a week ago saying that Ryan Tannehill, the Dolphins are expected to move on from Ryan Tannehill. That's a big move for this Miami organization, so they must have their eyes on somebody if they're already wanting to get rid of Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is average at best. He really isn't that good of a quarterback. He's been injured. He's been banged up the majority of his career. He tore his ACL. Then he did something to his foot. So, thing about Ryan Tannehill, and I said it in my Ryan Tannehill video, he's always injured, and the injuries are not minor either. They're always a major injury, so I can see why the Dolphins want to move on from him. Yes, it's not his fault, but at the end of the day, the Dolphins want to win, and their best shot at winning is to go out and get a quarterback that can stay healthy and that can win them football games. And I think Nick Foles to the Miami Dolphins would make sense. And I think that the Miami Dolphins could definitely succeed with Nick Foles. Another team that comes to mind is the Denver Broncos. Case Keenum didn't have a good season, really. I do get it, though. Vance Joseph could have been the reason. That's why the Denver Broncos ended up firing him, because they didn't really see that Vance Joseph to be the head coach they thought him to be. So Case Keenum, he could possibly not be the starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos next season. They could possibly even end up moving on from him. But this is the thing that I think. I think Case Keenum deserves another shot in Denver. I think that he can be a good quarterback with the right coaches around him. I think that he can be a successful quarterback and possibly lead the Denver Broncos to the playoffs with a good coaching staff around him, and with a good, receiver core around him. They do have Emmanuel Sanders. They have a young stud rookie, soon to be second year guy, Cortland Sutton. So they have receivers that they can work with, but we'll see what happens with Case Keenum. But I think if Case Keenum and the Denver Broncos don't really work out, I can see the Denver Broncos ending up trading Case Keenum to maybe the Miami Dolphins, or just a team, or end up maybe even cutting Case Keenum. And then I can see the Denver Broncos making Nick Foles their franchise quarterback. Nick Foles is 29 years old. He's only 3 years older than Jimmy Garoppolo And the Eagles really are in a controversial call right now because this is my take. If Nick Foles, I just uploaded a video about saying the Eagles really have a chance against the Bears. My take was no, but I'll let you guys watch that video to find out why. But if Nick Foles goes into Soldier Field, goes into Chicago, and beats this furious Bears team, they will have quarterback controversy in Philadelphia. Okay? Nick Foles tore his ACL last year. Now he has a fractured vertebrae. He's not playing like the Carson Wentz we knew from last season. We all know that, but he has been banged up. It sucks to kind of see. I can see Carson Wentz kind of going down the hill like Ryan Tannehill kind of went down. I wish the best for Carson Wentz, and I hope that doesn't happen. I think he'll be fine in the long run. But I just do not see the Nick Foles wanting to stay in Philadelphia if he's not going to be a starting quarterback. Nick Foles is clutch. He can be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And the two teams that come to mind for me are the Denver Broncos and the Miami Dolphins, personally. But we'll see what happens. But that's my take on where I think Nick Foles could go, where I think Nick Foles could land. He could also land in Tampa Bay. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he had Fitzmagic going on at the beginning of this beginning of this season, and he kind of fell off. And Jameis Winston is obviously not the answer in Tampa Bay. We'll see what happens when Tampa Bay hires a new coach. But at the same time, I just don't think Jameis Winston's good. I think he's pretty terrible, if we're being honest. So, Denver Broncos could go out and get Nick Foles. Miami Dolphins could go out and get Nick Foles. We'll see what happens, but I think Case Keenum in Denver deserves another shot, another season to see what he can produce. But if not, I can see this Philadelphia Eagles team just letting him walk because they can't afford him, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm like 95% sure that's probably what's going to happen. And I can see the Denver Broncos or another team like Miami or maybe even Tampa Bay. I don't really see Tampa Bay too much, though. More so Miami and Denver. I can really see Nick Foles in Denver. We'll see what happens, though. But as of right now, that's my teams that come to mind. That's where I think he could possibly end up. Because the Denver Broncos could really need another quarterback if Case Keenum does not work out, which we'll see what happens because I think that Case Keenum deserves another shot with a new head coach. But if he doesn't produce another new head coach, and I think the Denver Broncos need to go out and get Nick Foles. And I think that Nick Foles could lead this team far into the playoffs, especially noting that Denver has a very good defense. Excuse me. But that's my video. That's where I think that's what's going to happen. That's where I think Nick Foles could land. That's where I think he could end up and land after this season. But we'll see what happens. Let me know what teams you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think he'll stay on the Eagles? Do you think the Eagles would keep him? They're not going to be able to afford Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. They owe Nick Foles $20 million. That's going to take a big hit on their cap. But let me know in the comments down below where you think Nick Foles could end up and where you think Nick Foles could go. To me, it's Denver or Miami. And I think that's the best destinations for him. I think Denver's a better destination for him. We'll see what happens, though. I don't really know at the moment, but if Case Keenum doesn't work out in Denver, I could definitely see Nick Foles ending up in Denver. So we'll see what happens, but let me know where you guys think Nick Foles could go. And with that being said, go Niners.